When construction started on this Burrell Boom property owned by Kenny and Shanna Williams, Dr. Sade Thompson was told her two-bedroom unit would cost about $80,000. But somewhere along the way, that price shot up, skyrocketing to $124,000. That's $44,000 over budget. So, did Thompson and the other investors ever receive detailed invoices and proof of where their money went?
We believed like this is what it would cost, and they did give us an invoice. Everything that we did, they gave us invoices that would break it down, like, oh, the wood, the this, that. It looked very, very legit. And so I thought, okay, and so as I'm paying this, like I'm paying the 124, they said it's going to be in phases. So they'd be like, okay, phase one is 30,000 US, phase two, there was about 5 phases. And as we're paying for these phases, there are other things coming up aside from the actual like amount that we're supposed to pay.
What specific upgrades justified these increases? Were there any audits or financial reviews conducted during the construction phase? Still, attorney Andrew Bennett, who represents the Williamses, argues that Thompson and her partners ended up with far more than they originally expected.
In our view, they got more than value for money. Look at this property. Eco-friendly, untouched, natural setting. Howler monkeys around. You don't get that in America. You get that in Belize. And that is their capital injection. What Mr. Williams had done for them at no cost was to oversee the construction of these homes. So talking about value for money, they have gotten more than that. And that is a matter of dispute, so we will not get into the numbers.
According to Thompson, they ended up paying rent and extra fees, plus meeting with contractors after costs kept climbing. Even though the price was higher than expected, they believed the luxury upgrades and promised returns would make it worthwhile, especially with a notarized agreement in place.
We ended up paying rent. We ended up paying all these extra fees because they said that the people weren't local. And so I just kept on. And we ended up going in person. So after we decided like, okay, we will pay we'll do that amount. We met with the contractor. We had a Zoom meeting with the contractor. And so everything, it was higher than we expected, but everything still sounded good. Like, okay, it's luxury, we'll make our money back. They were telling us returns on investments. And so since they're doing an informal mortgage, and we did see it, it was stamped, and it was not stamp duty, but they did have like a notary do that agreement with them.
At one point, Thompson and her partners realized they needed some expert guidance to keep the project on track. So they brought in consultant Jasmine Tillett to help steer the ship and figure out the next steps.
You could have easily walked away from the situation safely, but you didn't. Instead, you just became more greedy. You tried to ask him for more money rather than just saying, listen, all they had to do was be accountable. For me as a foreigner living here too, it's really sad to see that people are being ripped off over $500,000. The FIU have done nothing. The Ladyville police have not even allowed us on the property to do an inventory. And meanwhile, on the cameras, it's seen that they're taking all their property. So we have these 3 cabanas that are being assessed by DFC at over $500,000 or over $1 million. And we can't even get into them to simply put a camera or count how many dishes.
Our investigation has raised some serious legal and ethical questions. Why did the Williamses maintain beneficial ownership while soliciting large investments? Does this raise questions about control and risk? Could the investors' lack of familiarity with local business practices have contributed to misunderstandings? So, why were they kicked out?
There are 2 aspects of that. One, we have communicated to Courtney Coy that the relationship between Jasmine Tillett and my clients have soured. And so she's no longer an invited person to be on this property. We have suggested that both parties work on appointing somebody who is amenable to both parties.
We'll continue to follow this story in our next newscast. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.